What is up? We are back today, baby. This is Issue 1 Podcast. Kory, how are we doing today?
We're feeling better than last week, I'll tell you that
much. What did we do last week?
Nothing, because I was sick.
Yep, Kory was sick last week,
Yeah.
so let's give him a hand, everybody. Woo, yeah! So today we're going to be playing some Gotham Knights while doing a podcast, YouTube exclusive for the gameplay.
Wow, maybe you should go over and watch it on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify, maybe you should go over to YouTube.
Spotify just... If we ever got promoted by Spotify, they just now demoted us.
Yeah, we are never getting added to that like Halloween playlist, are we?
Yeah, to the Halloween.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so we're going to talk about a couple things today. Obviously, a little bit of Gotham Knights, but we'll get into that later. First off, what are we going to start with, Kory?
We should probably review Black Adam, because this is kind of the podcast thing that we do, isn't it? Comic book movies and stuff.
Yes, it is.
I mean, comic book things in general, but comic book movies specifically.
Yeah. So, let's just start with a 1 to 10, I guess.
Yeah.
1 out of 10. This is a solid 5 for me. It was 50% good, 50% just not great. And I will say, the opening act was not great for me. But go ahead.
I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
Listen,
That's fair.
I like The Rock as Black Adam. I love that character. I've always been a Black Adam fan, especially with the Injustice games and stuff. Those were kind of like my first like real big introduction into Black Adam. But
yeah,
I've always liked that character. I've always liked the JSA. I love Dr. Fate. I love Hawkman in this. We'll get into that a little bit later. But Hawkman was easily my favorite part about the movie.
I like Dr. Phase a lot in this movie. I didn't
Dr. Phase.
What is it, Professor Phase?
Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate. Oh my God, I really meant... Listen, I'm trying to get this getaway van right now. Anyways. I failed in that too. Anyways, Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate.
I didn't even know this character up to that point, and as you could tell, honestly.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
But something about it, dude. The look of him, the sleek of his mask, dude. Like, and also...
Yeah.
He had enough screen time where it wasn't annoying.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't too much of him because it was a Black Adam movie.
Yeah.
And there wasn't too little of him because he was honestly, like, one of the big... Oh, yeah, by the way, spoilers.
He played a decent point in it.
Let's get this out of the way. We're spoiling.
Yeah, we're spoiling this.
So.
And, I mean, you don't have to worry about Gotham Knight spoilers because we're not that far into the story. But,
yeah.
Yeah, also cuss word warning because I'm going to say fuck pretty soon. 3, 2, 1. Already did it. Yeah, see, Dr. Fate was one of those characters that I always wanted to see on the big screen. I had seen him in Smallville, and he kind of made, like, a very short appearance on Stargirl, and it's, the TV quality is still pretty good, but it's still not what I wanted.
Yeah.
And, I love this new look of the character, the way it's, like, half of it's supposed to be, like, order, and the other half is chaos and whatever. But you know what I don't like about his helmet, Ben?
What?
You can see his ear on the chaotic side of the helmet.
Oh.
And not on the other side.
That is chaotic.
It's very bothersome. It's definitely intentional because they know that's going to bother people. But
you know those posts that's like neutral chaotic?
Yeah, yes.
It's literally that.
It's like
except
good
this
chaotic
one's evil chaotic.
Evil chaotic. Yeah.
Were there not just bad guys right down there?
Yeah. Are they not there anymore, buddy?
Yeah, I guess not. Anyways.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So get into... What's the Hawk guy's name?
Hawkman.
Hawkman, yes.
And
get into Hawkman.
I've always been a fan of Hawkman, too, especially with, like... he's not really in the Justice League cartoon, but, Hawkgirl is actually... It's a lot to explain. There's a lot of avenues you can take where they're like an alien race from outer space. That's usually what happens. But there's also a different version of Hawkman where Hawkman and Hawkgirl are, like, an ancient, like, pharaoh and queen who, like, keep getting reincarnated. And whenever they get reincarnated, they end up being like separated at birth or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they always end up finding each other. So I don't know which avenue they're going to take, but they mentioned in the movie, it's Carter Hall, so it is regular recipe Hawkman. This time played by Aldous Hodge, who is a black man, and that's fucking pretty sweet because it's perfect casting.
Yeah, honestly, he was... again, not that the comedy... There was really dumb comedy in this.
There was.
But... The comedy that was good was from Hawkman.
Yeah, and it was because Aldous Hodge played it super straight. Like, it wasn't like a nod and a wink, him getting mad. It was like him being like me and you. We're gonna have a talk. Me and you.
I think
I actually love that.
my favorite moment from Hawkman, as far as the comedic relief side goes, is what was it?
At the round table or whatever.
Yeah. And Adam Smasher's going off and like, hey, I got some good ideas, whatever.
Yeah,
and he's like, stop. He just goes, stop.
Yeah, he literally looks at him. He's like, stop. But it's like he's getting embarrassed a little bit.
It reminded me a lot of like Nope, honestly.
Yeah,
that whole kind of side
for sure.
of comedy.
Yeah, because a lot of things happen in Nope that are funny, but if you're in that situation, it's not very funny.
Yeah,
that sucks. It's very. The best way I can describe it is King Kong, fucking Island of Monsters or whatever, Skull Island. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comedy like that, but yeah. So I love those characters. Hawkman's always been in like animated cartoons with like Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and what have you. He was in Smallville, made an appearance there and whatever. I know a lot of Hawkman, but for some reason I can't even think of where I really see him.
I don't think I've ever seen him before, honestly, up until this movie.
He's his whole thing is that he's just a super brazen dude. Like, as you could tell from the movie, which is why I think they did it perfectly. He's always just mad and angry and just trying to resort to beating the shit out of people before trying to talk things out. He's just really impulsive but he's like supposed to be like an ancient warrior or an alien warrior. I don't fucking know. They haven't really said it. Just sprinkles seeds on the ground while you're in the middle of a fight or whatever.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean those characters are great. I guess we can talk about Cyclone and Atom Smasher. Wow.
Did we get any Cyclone, to be honest?
Yeah, that people's biggest.
She's just like, I do wind.
People's biggest complaint about this movie is probably that Cyclone's not in it enough, which I agree. Actually, that's a character that I don't really give a shit about.
Yeah,
and it was played so well. I was like, I could use more of her. Her and Atom Smasher both. I wanted to see more of. Even though Noah Centineo has no idea who the fuck Atom Smasher is or who any of them. Did you see that red carpet interview?
No.
They asked him.
I could already tell though.
Oh god, they literally asked him. Because he's not really a comic book guy. He's like done some stuff for Netflix and stuff. He's not even. He's a decently big actor, but
yeah,
he's just doing like rom-com shit with like Joey King on like The Kissing Booth or whatever. He's I don't really know or care. So they were like, so if you were to get a JSA movie, or if we were to see more of the JSA, who would you like to see added to the team? And his first fucking response is, well, I'm a big fan of Rorschach. I'd really like to see Rorschach in the JSA. No.
Nah, dude, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
And after that moment, everybody was like, oh, shit, he didn't read any of this material for this movie.
Yikes.
Granted, he didn't really need to, considering everything he did was,
my God, imagine Rorschach. That should be our title. Rorschach in...
oh, my God. Rorschach, yeah, this will be in the
Adam?
thumbnail. Rorschach and Black Adam? Yeah,
Short answer, no.
So what do you think of The Rock's performance all around in this movie?
He, again, just played his character that he always plays. I feel like just without comedy.
I could definitely tell he was having fun with it. Like,
because
he got an excuse to do that thing he always does anyway.
He became Black Adam. I want everybody to understand.
Well,
that man on Twitter became Black Adam.
Oh my God! Have you ever seen those videos of him pulling up in a golf cart and be like, "Hey guys," and he's still in costume, but he's wearing robes so they can't see the outfit. Whatever. He's like, "Hey guys, we just wrapped on, you guessed it, the Man in Black, Black Adam, and I just want you guys to know to drink my tequila and my energy drink." And every time he does his whole thing, at the end of it, he goes, "Tell him that the Man in Black sent you, Black Adam, out, motherfucker," and then he drive away. And it's so goofy every single time. You're doing some important Court of Owl shit on Gotham Knights right now, Ben. I'm not gonna lie.
Am I actually?
Yeah, that's a big owl on a door,
hey,
on a secret door.
Look at this. I thought I was. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I just went to the Belfry, but apparently we're doing the main mission.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, Ben. When you went to bed last night, I played this till like 4 a.m.
Dude, I literally am sleeping in my bed and I hear blink, and my Xbox turns on. I'm like, are you serious, dude?
Yeah, sure did.
Because I thought you were out for the night.
Well, I just wanted to. I was like, last night I couldn't really go to sleep, and I was like, you know what? I might as well get a decent handle on where the story's going, so I can talk about some stuff.
So okay, yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, but so yeah, man,
I think he did okay. I
think he did good. Considering he had fucking 10 years to sit on this character, it better be decent. Over 10 years. He got casted in
It was that
2009.
long ago?
2009. He got
Jesus,
casted.
dude.
Yeah.
I
When
will
Iron Man came out, that's when he got casted.
I will say, the first act was okay. First act and second, like the first half of the second act, he did quite literally no talking,
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
and he is not a Charlie Chaplin type of actor.
No.
I'll point that out because
It's always just smoldering.
yes, dude. Can we stop it with the meme smoldering on everything? Like him just being like, and then like looking at a tank and being like, I'm gonna blow that thing up. You know what I mean? It just didn't. It didn't. I don't know. That didn't fly with me. And also, the amount of just stupid jokes at the very beginning. And I'll get into something later here too. But how many times is Black Adam gonna throw a guy up in the air? and then they're gonna be like talking, and she's like, "Well, is that guard safe?" And he's like, and the person falls behind him, and they're like, "That one didn't make it."
You're gonna be like,
seriously?
They're gonna be like, you can't kill anybody, and then he drops people and gives them the people's eyebrow.
Literally.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in this freaking movie.
Yeah, dude. How many times do we need to see that?
Yeah. So, as far as the actual movie goes, it's all right. It's just regular. It's just superhero bullshit. That's the only way I can describe it. It's just
it is,
and it's just, and honest to God, it was definitely more entertaining. I 100% would rather watch that again than watch fucking Thor: Love and Thunder again. 100%.
Oh, 100%. I keep seeing polls on YouTube that's like asking which one's better, those two. Which, why pit those two against each other? I don't know, but
because they're both kind of ass.
they're both bad, but there's an obvious winner, at least to most people that I saw in the polls. The Black Adam won.
Yeah.
You know, and that was this poll. This poll didn't even give enough people the time to go out and see it, and everybody is pretty much already in conclusion that
it just had a better balance of like Black Adam being. He wasn't jokes ahoy or whatever. Like he took things pretty seriously.
Yeah.
The problem with Thor: Love and Thunder, and we're not going to talk about this very much, but the problem with Thor: Love and Thunder is like you have such a serious story going through, and I'm totally all for like. And Taika Waititi's a master of masking really deep and sad ideas behind like really funny, just characters and whatever.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't a good balance this time. With Jane Foster having cancer, Thor being the loneliest person in the universe, and Gore being fucking just doesn't.
Why are we doing 80s hair metal or hair rock to like, and then comedy the whole shit? Like nothing was dark about it.
No.
And it's like it was so set up to be a good dark film too.
Yeah. Oh my God, it had a great setup for that. Honestly, it's just the tone didn't really make sense. Black Adam has a tone that makes sense to me because at least it was consistent.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, things might go bad, but there's a man in black.
I will say there was at least a turning point for Black Adam because the first half of the movie was a lot of stupid jokes and like dumb, just whatever. But
a lot of exposition. Too.
I will say the second half, like Chloe and I, when we watched it together, we were like dying at some of the like just dumbness in the first half.
There were some silly things.
But I will say, I kind of was like paying attention way more that second half, and there was obviously more stuff to go down. But
it definitely gets a lot more tense towards the end. Like,
yeah.
But I will say the villain Sabak, bad.
Yeah,
because
we didn't even get to see him hardly.
You don't. That's such a bad way to write a villain with. It's like, and I know that their reasoning behind it was probably like, well, the guy who is Sabak, you follow him throughout the entire story, but it's like it's still not Sabak. Whenever he became Sabak, he didn't hardly say anything.
Yeah, and
he just got his ass handed to him, and we didn't really get any proof that he was even that formidable of a foe. It didn't resonate with me at all. I didn't really give a shit. And I've said this many times before, and I stand by it. This movie should have just been a Black Adam versus the JSA movie.
Yeah.
And it probably should have just been a JSA movie with Black Adam as the main antagonist. Not a Black Adam movie, per se.
So, speeding this up a little bit, do you want to get into the post-credit yet, or do you have some more to say?
I got a little bit more to say.
Okay.
There are some good things in this film, for sure. Some of the action pretty decent. Even though it's CGI people flying about, it's definitely one of the best or the best example of that. Like, at least it works the most. I think the flying and the people fighting in air and stuff, I think it works way more than like Man of Steel or really anything like that. So I think all that stuff worked. Hawkman and Dr. Fate were obviously the standouts, the best part of the film. The action sequences between them, the showcase of powers of Dr. Fate was, I mean, considering...
I loved his powers.
Yeah, you only
They were
got
cool.
to know him for like a movie and you kind of understood who he was.
Dude, what am I supposed to do here?
I don't know.
What is the order about?
I don't...
I hate these, and we'll get to this later again. But Gotham Knights, come on with this investigation. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Yeah. Yep, you're too deep into it now. Maybe you should just leave. This seems like a lot of focusing.
Yeah, dude.
So,
Let me just go beat up some fools.
yeah, just beat some people up, man. Just be vengeance. You need it.
Speaking of action.
Oh my god, hold on. Had a mouthful of phlegm. Gross. So, it's very gross.
Yes, Robin.
You're flying on this glider bullshit.
Oh my
So,
God.
with Black Adam, like I said, there were some good things. There's a chase sequence where they're trying to get a kid who's like in a bike. Pretty good chase sequence, like.
You
And
think so?
Yeah,
You like that one?
Yeah, definitely.
I guess it wasn't bad.
I definitely just liked that it had some stakes, and
They
you
always
know.
needed Black Adam to somehow hear them or see them, though, to save them out of the situation. Did you notice that in the movie?
Yeah, kind of.
They'd be looking, like when stuff got really bad. They couldn't just like figure something out, which is understandable,
Yeah,
I
they
guess.
did a lot of waiting around.
But
for
they
Black
would
Adam.
look up into the sky and hope that Black Adam would actually come and help.
Well, I think that was kind of the point because they would look at the statue and be like, "Oh, he's our savior. We'll just sit around and wait for him to do whatever." And yeah, so I like that scene. And it's kind of tense whenever they're chasing after the kid. What I didn't like was the twist that Black Adam, because they set up this whole thing where it's like Black Adam was this kid and he was a slave, and then
Yeah.
you know, something happened or, you know, whatever. And he became Black Adam. And that's who we're talking to today. And at no point did I believe that. Because the whole time that you're watching,
whole time.
there's a man in the back who plays his dad who just looks like the fucking Rock.
Yes.
They
didn't even try and like hide, like make it a secret.
They made it like kind of dark, but if you give a shit enough to look, you can tell it's just the Rock. Which that could have been like, okay, well maybe they just made the dad vaguely look like the Rock, so that way, you know, it's kind of, because who are you going to cast to be the Rock's dad or whatever? That I kind of get. But it was the fact that I didn't believe them, because in the entire trailers, it was about, my son, he died. My son believed in a world because he died. I was a slave until my son died. Then I got these powers. You spoiled it in the fucking trailers, dumb fuck. Like, so don't play around with me. Don't play footsie with me. I know goddamn what you're playing at.
Yeah.
So, you know, what shocked me was maybe the thing that shocked me is that the kid had the powers at all before he ended up giving it to his dad.
Yeah, that's
the only thing that
was a
shocked me at
little
all.
bit of a twist.
Just the fact that he was Black Adam. And I did like, there was a little moment where he's like shrouded in darkness whenever he appears in the wizard's like palace or whatever. And they just outline the shape of the adult Black Adam from the kid. But they literally, this was kind of a nice nod. They literally made him, at least whenever it came to the shadowing, the outline of comic accurate Black Adam with the
Did
hair,
they?
the
Oh,
ears
yeah.
being
Oh, yeah.
pointy and everything. Like, it basically just looked like Namor with a cape, because that's pretty much what Black Adam kind of looks like. But they nailed it. I was like, holy shit, that is kind of a cool idea to throw that in there, if not just for a second. So, another problem I have, he has a sweet-ass version of this costume where he has a cape and a hood. That shit gets destroyed, like, immediately.
Yeah.
And then we got to see fucking The Rock running around in a wetsuit all day. It's a good costume, though.
You like it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
It fits the tone that was set up by Shazam while also still being pretty comic accurate to what his outfit is in the comics.
That's fair enough, yeah.
I would say I feel like they showed a little too much trap with that outfit. His traps
Literally.
bulge out of that fucking thing.
Dude, it's kind of weird.
It's kind of gross.
I don't
But
I didn't even pull that off.
But
in real
later, he gets another costume where it's the same thing, but he gets the cape attached to the back of the outfit, which you didn't even realize this was a different outfit.
I had no clue that there was a cape towards the end.
Yeah, it was the same outfit, but it was brighter. The golds were a lot brighter and stuff. The blacks were a lot darker, and the cape had, it was a comic accurate cape. It wasn't just a flimsy piece of cloth. It was like a real like Shazam cape.
I don't know, man. To me, it was subtle, and I have a feeling that wasn't meant to be subtle.
Probably not.
Like,
well, it wasn't, because there was a big score moment where it was like,
was it?
Here's Black Adam.
And I'm probably just watching it like, okay.
All right.
All right.
And I think his traps are showing a lot less. It's like there's a bunch of minor tweaks to it, but yeah, you kind of there's even some posters where he's wearing it and you don't even realize it because he's sitting on the cape, so you don't even really see it. But,
yeah.
So yeah, like I said, the outfits are pretty good. A lot of the action scenes are good. I don't have anything else to say about this movie. Amanda Waller shows up again. Harcourt shows up. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty much all I have to say except for post-credit scene. This is a big spoiler, but I'm sure you already know because The Rock ruined it. The executive producer of the movie ruined it.
The producer ruined it. Before I even got to see the movie, okay, can I explain how the producer ruined it for me?
Go ahead.
So, I'm on Twitter, and I pretty much already knew because I'm not nearly as much into the leaks as you are. Mm-hmm. But everybody, if you're kind of into this stuff at all, you know like who was in the post credits of this already.
Correct, yeah.
But had you not known that previously, the producer comes out on Twitter and it's like, I'm so disappointed people ruined the surprise. Okay, why are you talking about it?
Yes, and he literally mentioned what the surprise was.
Yes, like put a picture of Superman.
Yeah,
like behind. That's the Twitter tweet that I saw.
Yeah, that's it. Henry Cavill Superman has indeed returned. In the post-credit scene of Black Adam, because Amanda Waller's like, Black Adam, you better quit fucking around or you're gonna find out. Because we got this guy who can go toe to toe with you, and he's like, oh yeah, I'd like to meet this man, and then Superman shows up. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, you were pissed about that because it ruined it for you. I didn't even care when he said that because I already knew he was in the movie, considering every interview The Rock does, somebody goes, hey, what's up with Superman? He goes, I can't say much, but all I can say is, welcome home, and shit like that. And
oh, my God.
It's like, yeah, the executive producer did spoil it for you, Ben, but The Rock ruined it for me like 2 months ago. Like, yeah, thanks. I get what you're doing, but fuck off. So, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of weird.
I wonder if they were worried about, like, a turnout, and they thought last-ditch effort.
Ben, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
They 100%. It was kind of like how No Way Home, there were a lot of leaks about how Toby and Andrew were in it. That was 100% marketing, I think. I think they genuinely planned to let some of that go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And well, you know how I know that? John Campea posted a watermarked version of the film where it's all three of them together on screen, and it was watermarked with his name, John Campea, on it. Posted it on Twitter, and he's still getting invited to advanced screenings and shit.
Oh my
so
God.
Obviously, they weren't that mad about it. They probably told him to fucking do it. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, the cops are gonna shoot you, man.
Okay.
So that's our review of Black Adam. It's just everything that we've seen from Marvel and DC, just your average superhero film. There are some things about it that make it a little bit more interesting. Like I said, like some of the action beats, and it is a different kind of character, I guess. But really beyond that, there's nothing new here, really. It's worth the watch for sure, just for the JSA versus Black Adam alone. I mean, that stuff was incredible.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Maybe just make a JSA movie. I don't know. What the fuck do I know?
I don't know that they can anymore. After that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another thing. Dr. Fate dies in the
but
movie, so that's good. Yeah, remember.
He dies.
But they telegraphed the fuck out of it the whole movie. So, all right. So, yeah, that's Black Adam.
Originally, this podcast, we were thinking like the horrors of Gotham Night, because guess what today is, Kory?
Oh, what is it?
It's Halloween.
It's the spookiest day of the fucking year.
How do we do something that's not so obvious like the Long Halloween, and do a different topic that because literally we're gonna have to read the Long Halloween, and we're gonna have to. Kory's read it. I have not.
Yeah,
but
I've read it a few times.
It's one that we want to take our time on.
Mm-hmm.
And
for sure. But also just like Ben was like, And this isn't a play at you, Ben, but you're like, what if we did the long Halloween for Halloween? And I was like, that's a good idea, but I'm not going to lie to you, Ben. Like, Halloween's maybe in like 4 whole pages of the whole 200-page book or whatever.
Listen. It's just for search. It's just for the search. But
Ben,
anyways,
can I beat up some bad guys?
absolutely. Here you go.
Yay. All right, let's do this.
So yeah, now we're gonna get into Gotham Knights, and if you're on YouTube, you're watching this as we speak,
Yeah.
and you can tell that this bike literally doesn't do anything for you except for allow you to wheelie.
Yeah. You can't even get over a barricade with it. Yeah, look, Ben, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been hyped about this game since DC fandom of 2020, I do believe.
Yes, dude, you've been hyped for a while.
Yeah, that was whenever they first released the trailer for the Batman. God, what a time. And so they released the first trailer for this, and I had been anticipating this for years because there were leaks for years that they were going to do a Court of Owls Batman Arkham story, which we were kind of right, except it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't Arkham. It was, first of all, it was WB who did do Arkham Origins, which was kind of a prequel filler part in the Arkham series. It's kind of strange how they ended up putting that together.
Yeah.
But so I was super excited about it whenever they announced it, and there was like they kind of had like this marketing technique where WB would release WB games. They would release like a code or something to decode or whatever, and if you solved this riddle or whatever, it would reveal part of the map. And whenever you put the map together or whatever, eventually you would see like a big owl or something at the very end of it. And it was like the day before DC fandom, so I was like, "Fuck, it's actually happening." Yeah. Granted, Gotham Knights, again, isn't a part of the Arkham series, but funnily enough, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is.
Although they make... Like, it literally takes place right after Arkham City, right?
Right after Arkham Knight. Which literally ends with, and this is a minor spoiler for... I mean, it's a big spoiler for Arkham Knight, but it's been out since 2015.
If you haven't played it.
So the game ends with Bruce Wayne faking his death or actually killing himself. Probably faking his death. It's kind of vague, but
yeah.
he fakes his death. And he blows up the mansion. In this game, in the first trailer, you can see it's basically about Bruce being like, hey, you guys got this. I'm going to be dead for a while.
If you see this, I'm dead.
I'm dead. And in it, there's a newspaper that says billionaire blows up house or some shit like that. And I was like, are they literally just picking up after that game, but just making their own continuity with it? Short story, long story short, yes.
Yeah, but why confuse people like that?
Well, it's strange because Tim Drake is Robin in this, and Tim Drake is the Robin in the Arkham games. Nightwing is an established character, as well as Red Hood gets introduced in Arkham Knight too. And this... because in the Arkham Knight game, Batgirl is still in the wheelchair. In this, she has like a metal, like electronic back brace thing that fixed her back after the Joker paralyzed her. So even those things are all in continuity with each other. Are you
serious?
It's so strange how it's so weird. It doesn't make any sense. But so yeah, I don't know. I was hyped for this for so long.
It's kind of like they're like, we're gonna go with continuity, but just so you know, it's not an Arkham game. Just in case people hate this game.
It's kind of...
I feel like it's like that.
There's a term for it. It's called a requel, which is kind of like a reboot, but a sequel at the same time. You know?
Kory, overall, what do you feel about this game?
My honest to God opinion is I like it, and I quote, but I don't know why.
We do not know why.
I like it.
We cannot stress that part enough.
I'm trying so hard to disassociate it from the Arkham games because that's an unfair comparison, considering those games are quite literally like perfect whenever it comes to Batman content at the very least.
Well, especially their stories.
Yeah, for sure.
So far, and I haven't hardly played this story. Kory and I are sharing this game right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't played too much of the story. Literally, I've been going around just beating guys up like this.
Yep, fair enough.
That has gotten extremely repetitive for me.
Oh, for sure.
For some reason, though, when I'm done playing the game, I'm like, man, I kind of want to go back on and beat up a bunch of guys.
When you give it a couple hours, you're like, shit, I could play that again.
Yeah, and we don't know why. And honestly, like, the customization isn't anything to write home about, in my opinion.
No, absolutely not.
I don't understand the mods, like, at all. I will say the cosmetics, some of it looks cool, but like there's not a whole lot you can do with it. Okay, you can change the colorway, the cowl. There are combinations you can do, but like I don't know, you kind of get what you get.
Yeah, it's very surface level, man.
It's another game. It's another game they came out with that's absolutely made for paid DLCs later.
Yeah, probably.
And that's a problem for me because as of right now, there is hardly anything to do in this game.
Yeah, other than the story.
Yeah, other than the story, but again,
Yeah.
this story is you going around and it's pretty much the same. Like, first of all, I'll throw this out there. I have never felt like doing any of these challenges, if I was serious about it, that I would ever lose.
Yeah.
It's so easy. And we're playing on medium right now.
What probably doesn't help that they give you like fucking 8 health bars. Or health, you know what I mean? Things to fix your health or whatever.
Well, also, like, all of the enemies are literally the same thing.
Right.
There's the guy with the gun. There's the guy
with the gun.
that hits you with the sword. Mm-hmm. Or, no, there's just the brawlers. There's the dude with the gun. And then there's the brutes. You good over there?
Yeah.
And then there's the brutes. And it's literally cookie cutter over and over and over again.
A lot of these games are like that, unfortunately.
But come on, you've had so many years to develop something new.
Well, considering, like... And this is one of those things where people like tried to defend DC for the longest time. We're like, well, they're finding, they're new to the comic book thing. Marvel's got it down packed. They're just figuring things out. It's like, no, you should be watching those and learning from that. You know what I mean? It's just inexcusable. It should be better.
Oh,
Ben, this is pissing me off.
Do you need to go take a drink?
No, I think we're good. I think I got it. God, a pain in the ass. So yeah, it's like this 100%. It's weird. They made Batman Arkham Origins, which I enjoy quite a bit. It's probably my second to least favorite, but with that being said, I'd still give it like at least a 7 out of 10. Like they're all great. It's a great game. And I know they wanted to do something entirely different because they knew people would just compare the Arkham games like crazy. And honestly, I don't want this to be an Arkham, an Arkham series versus
let's
Gotham Knights thing.
Do something new.
But
this should be here's my problem with it though, is people are comparing them right now because they honestly didn't do too much differently. In my opinion, like so like the combat is different. But it's the same premise. You go to a spot, you do some stealth takedowns, you blah, blah, blah. The story, like, the way you play the game, honestly, isn't too dissimilar, in my opinion, to how you play Arkham Knight. Like, honestly. It feels a whole lot different, but the premise of the game is almost the same. Like, that's why we're comparing it, I think, is because the actual, like, gameplay isn't that dissimilar. It just doesn't feel right.
Well, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to totally disagree with you there at all. It's just, the Arkham games are done so well, the way they do side missions and villains, and the main story is amazing. And there's so much, they put so much love and heart into those games. Like, I play Arkham Knight all the time, and even 7 years later? 7 years later, I'm still finding new things about that game all the time.
Yeah.
And it's because they put a lot of love and care into it.
I guess I'm wording it a little wrong. It's more like this does literally the basics of what those game does.
Exactly.
And yet they act like this is such a different game, and it's not.
Well, it's
like we're getting the bare bones of what we already had years and years ago.
Exactly. What makes those games is the finer details in it. The combat is so polished, it's not even funny. The gliding, the grappling, literally every gameplay mechanic in Arkham Knight works perfectly. And
at least for the time. Like, obviously, this is, in my opinion, a smoother feel, and it should be. Like, this is a modern game. The graphics are better. The frame rates are better. Mm-hmm. Even though we've had problems with frame rates on this game a lot. But to me, it feels like a more modern game, like especially if you come from like an FPS kind of background. It does feel smoother to me. I played Arkham Knight. See, you're biased because you love those games so much.
Correct.
I have hardly played those games, and I really should. Mm-hmm. But I will say Arkham Knight felt a good amount more clunky, at least in like the grappling part. and like just moving around the city. It felt a little more clunky than this game, and it should. It has the right to. It's years old. You know what I mean?
Even then, that was one of the things that like, I guess I'm probably just basing this off that.
Yeah.
But like, whenever it came to the gameplay mechanics with like the gliding and the stuff, the gliding was horrific in my opinion. Which you actually ended up liking it more. Yeah.
I like Batgirl's gliding because I feel like, I don't know, at least the time that I played it when you were over, there's some kind of weird latency issue with me on Arkham.
Well, it's
and it feels a little slow, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, I couldn't get around the city
with Arkham,
like I feel like I should.
Playing as Batgirl, especially, I played as Batgirl a little bit yesterday, which I'm actually going to switch characters now, but
yeah,
playing as Batgirl yesterday while you were asleep whatever, it just over your fucking sleepless body.
My sleepless body.
But playing it again, I was like, it bothered me.
Really?
Honestly, it felt so slow. It felt so slow.
Yeah.
As Arkham Knight, the problem that you had with like not being able to move it and stuff is you can go really, really fast in that game, and like whenever you go fast, it does get hard to control. Because you're just going like crazy. Crazy. I guess I wanted to throw that out there. Like whenever you would go all the way left or right on the joystick, we're playing on Xbox. It would like take a long time for him to actually move, and I get it. They were trying to do like based on physics kind of thing. Like you wouldn't physically be able to move that fast. Maybe she moves a little too fast, or like she maneuvers too fast, but she also goes slow, so you can do that. Yeah, it is. That's what it was. She goes slow and maneuvers quicker.
You know what else it is for me though?
What is it?
It's almost like this game doesn't it feel a whole lot more zoomed out? Like the characters literally feel small.
Oh no, actually these characters I think compared to Arkham Knight feel bigger because Arkham Knight whenever you're doing action scenes and stuff, one of my small complaints with that game is that actually they zoom out probably too much with that.
Wow. No, I always thought, I don't know. I haven't played them that much.
Yeah, for sure.
But whenever I played like Arkham Asylum and a little bit of Arkham Knight, I don't know. Batman just feels like huge to me. Yeah, he feels like in your face.
He feels bigger in Arkham Asylum, only because it's not like an open world, so you really get a lot of that. Yeah. That game's actually tighter than this one. Like
it's like on his back.
It's really
maybe
close.
That's what I'm coming from, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is zoomed in a little more. It's hard for me to tell, dude.
It's really such
I will say I did look at some comparisons, and even graphically, they're not that dissimilar.
No, which is a shame because that was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. That was when the Xbox One first came out. This is on the Xbox XS.
So we've been talking a lot of crap lately about this game, obviously. But I want to get into how you actually feel about Gotham, the city in this game.
The city of Gotham itself, I actually think is amazing.
I think it's great.
I think they actually kind of nailed it on that part. It does have a way of the way they split it into districts was actually a pretty genius idea, which it's not a new concept at all, but they did it really well. Like, and they especially, I gotta give them credit for planning out like what goes where, like putting the Iceberg Lounge in the financial district, along with like Gothcorp and all these other like references to Batman lore, and it's kind of genius. I honestly really appreciate it. The look of it's great. I
like the haze everywhere.
Yeah, the smoky atmosphere that it has is kind of awesome.
Sometimes it's a little too on the nose. Like, where's that really coming from?
Yeah, sometimes it literally makes little to no sense. This was a solid mistake, Ben.
Right in the camera.
I'm going to die.
I'm going to die.
Oh God.
Fucker. Yeah. Okay. So that brings up a point. Every side mission is either you just basically kill these guys or knock them out, obviously, or you have to knock all of them out and then defuse some bombs.
Right.
In a time limit. That is every single mission in this, dude.
Yeah. There's
even in the story. Honestly, it's the same thing. It's just story driven. Yeah. It's the same thing, dude. It's very annoying.
But I feel like that's how every game is, though.
But let's not have this be every game. You know what I mean? Like, if they're gonna make a different game, it's gonna be new. Let's do something new. Like people are getting tired of playing the exact same game over and over again.
Well, like whenever you play a Batman game, what else is there to do other than go transportate around the city, beat people up, and do stealth? I feel like there's and doing some detective work and whatever. And I feel like the story driven part is supposed to make it what's interesting to you. It's trying to get farther in the.
Okay, I'll give it that. There probably isn't a whole ton that you could do with it.
Mm-hmm.
However, at least make it like skill based a little bit, like where you can actually physically learn something about how to be better at this combat.
Yeah.
Or like
I'll agree with that for sure.
How you can like hack a certain device and then make this happen and then that distracts somebody, and like you don't get any of this. Honestly, the people are placed so poorly in these levels where like you pretty much half the time have to go down there and just brawl them.
Well, that's why I was like, okay,
It's
you know how I
super
said I
annoying.
don't want to do the like Arkham versus Gotham Knights thing?
Yeah.
We're doing Arkham versus Gotham Knights thing. So
We have to. We
what's-
kinda have to.
You have to. It's the predecessor before this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the thing with the problem for me about like doing the stealth or even the combat itself is there's a lack of gadgets and environment ingenuity that you can add to it.
Yeah.
You know, because they have abilities, that you can upgrade and whatever. But it's mostly just like your attack damage does 20% more.
Yeah.
If you go on
Who
Arkham Knight
cares?
and look at all the upgrades you can do.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. The different things that you can upgrade to, like different things you can hack, different things you can set off to distract an enemy, different things. Like, there's a million
and towards
ways.
the beginning of the game. Mm-hmm. Like, you know this, by the way,
You
at
literally
the beginning of the game.
You literally start off with a lot of things, but there's a lot more to upgrade into.
And
Which
this-
is good, because that's what you should be, that's what you want to work up to.
Truthfully, this could do that for us. Like, this could do that.
I thought it would.
This game is just so horrible at explaining what to do and how to get what.
Ben, it's horrible at explaining everything. There's so many things.
The menu was even bad. For us at start.
God, abysmal. That's. I'm glad you brought that up. There are so many things that this game does not explain that it should. Like the whole knighthood thing, so you can get your gliding ability with Barbara, or getting your Nightwing Fortnite glider and whatever. They don't explain to you how to get that. That is something that you have very specific things that you have to do, and they don't tell you.
Like the challenge is there, but it doesn't even tell you what the challenge is for.
The knighthood
challenge. It's just a
challenges
challenge.
Don't even say like, hey, when you complete this, you'll get your fucking transportation.
Yeah.
They don't. That is insane to me. How do you not explain that?
Like I said, there could be plenty of this, like, you can upgrade this, and you can change this, and now you can smoke without having to grapple away, or whatever. But there's no way of us knowing. Like, I have no clue what I'm even working for.
Most of the time.
And as this game goes, you could literally do the whole story, I'm guessing, with no abilities.
100%.
You could go with the base abilities and have no clue that you could have unlocked anything other than, what has been given to you in the story.
You're 100% right there for sure.
Like, I don't understand.
There's just such a weird
There's so many.
disconnect.
Yeah. This game is not. And what we have of abilities right now is like, oh, you're Red Hood, you can shoot a box on the wall that blows things up.
And even that, that's just like one thing. If you have the other abilities, it's like your health goes up by 20%.
Yeah.
Who the hell just wants to keep upping like percentages of damage or defense?
It's already too easy. I don't need better percentages for anything, honestly.
No. Yeah, it's weird, dude.
And it's like
so weird.
They couldn't make up their mind, I'm pretty sure, on like what this game truly was going to be, because it's almost a loot game, but it's not, because like you have to get these crafting materials and stuff, but you just get so many, like you don't even have to work for it.
There's so many weird things that like honestly make this very Avengers game-esque, which is my god, which was my biggest fear. And honestly, they definitely didn't do enough for it to bother me that much. But there were a few things that I'm like, you should have learned from that game not to do this. The looting thing, you should have learned not to do that based off of that.
I literally would have rather have like, okay, you do this, and you just happen to find in the chest like a brand new staff or something.
That's what you should be finding actual pieces of gear and shit.
Why am I crafting? Like, it's so easy. I kill a bunch of guys,
I kill a bunch of guys.
Sorry. Well, quite literally, that's one thing I want to point out.
Go ahead.
You can go up on a building, and I still want to test this. Let's try and do this today.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go up on a big building. You can literally just throw them off, and there's no like grapple to like
nothing.
save them from hitting the ground.
Okay, so for example, in the Spider-Man PS4 game, or in the Miles Morales one, when you kick somebody off of a building,
It webs them.
It webs that. It's almost like they have a web grenade attached to their chest where they get webbed to the building next to them.
Yeah.
So they don't fall to their death.
And they don't even have to show anything. You just get it like, oh, he probably put a grenade on him and
Yeah, exactly.
sent him off.
Yeah, and it's not like I need to see that.
No,
Like it's
you
fine.
don't have to. But literally, you can watch them fall all the way to the ground. Thereby, come on, that kills them.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we've sent people off of a 10-story building.
Dude, it's insanity. I don't know what the thought process. Because even for me, I was like, they have an easy cop out. They have a fucking grappling hook.
Yeah.
It literally tells you at the beginning of the game whenever you're doing training or something like that.
You might wanna health
it's
up, my
like,
guy.
It's literally like, I'm gonna see if I can finish it without that. Give myself some challenge. But my thing is that like they have the grapple hook cop out, and it tells you in the game, it's like, hey, guess what you can do? You can throw people. Like, it tells you to throw people off a building.
Yes.
It explains it
It
to you.
explains that in the mandatory tutorials, which are stupid.
How is this guy still not... What the hell?
Dude, what? Is this 2 different missions?
No. He just never realized there was a gunfight 2 feet away from his face.
Fair enough.
But yeah...
That's some good suppression action.
Yeah, no shit. So it literally is like basically telling you to do this because it's like, look how cool this is.
Yeah.
Okay, weird. I guess I will just look past it because what else am I going to do?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like, we've covered a lot of like what's wrong with this game already.
We have.
And I just don't even know what to like say. Like we love playing it. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Watching it though, that's a different story. I'm sorry
Watching
to you,
it
YouTube
is
right now.
miserable.
Like if it wasn't for us talking over this, you probably wouldn't still be watching. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, I will stand by that 100%. Playing the game is like all right, like it's good, it's fun. Watching it is quite literally so miserable.
Yeah.
Like I honestly would rather sit on my phone than watch you play this game. If you're doing the story mode, that's different. I can enjoy watching that, but just watch no, I can't. Nope. And it sucks because, like I said, I was so hyped for this game, Ben.
Can you heal up? I'm getting tired of seeing this red.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you.
So I accidentally hit it twice.
Yeah, we were super excited. Like we posted about it. We were like counting down the days to Gotham Knights. Boy, were we ready. And
we weren't. We thought we
weren't
were
ready at the same time because this is just it. I can't even be mad anymore because games just come out like this now. Like I can't even feel any way because I've been disappointed so often lately.
It's kind of crazy how this movie dropped or this game dropped, and I almost kind of didn't care. This glider.
What
thing
is this Fortnite
insanity.
glider crap? Let's not even get us started on Nightwing.
Yeah, his transportation thing is so weird.
It's quite literally a Fortnite glider.
But it's not nearly as bad as
Oh, my
Robin's.
God.
Robin's that teleportation thing is so awful.
Which, if you were watching earlier, you saw me messing with Robin's teleportation.
it's-
It's
I
so
don't
bad.
even- it's not
how
good.
do you find a way to make teleporting uncool? How do you do that?
That's a good question, man.
Dude, even literally Deadpool's teleporting in Ultimate Alliance was more fun.
Oh, it was all right.
It was fun.
You know what?
I was hoping for literally that. If they would have just stuck with a mechanic that was like that, where you could just like poof poof.
where you just poof over there.
Oh my god,
That's
that
what
would
they
be
should
fun.
have done instead of like basically not freezing time, but it
It,
kind
like,
of it
puts
feels
you
like
on a
they-
menu screen.
Yeah, it almost freezes time. You're just watching a little circle. Like it's kind of like a point and click game where it's like, where do you want to come? Where do you want to
Dude,
teleport to?
all they
That is
had-
nobody wants to do that. That's
All
not
they
fun.
had to do was it's like the same thing where they like put a circle on a ledge or something. Mm-hmm. But instead of grappling, you can hit the left trigger or whichever, or the right trigger or whichever,
Yeah,
and it poofs you there.
it's so stupid.
But you can only do that for like not as long as you can grapple, just so it balances it somehow.
It's so incredibly frustrating.
I don't know why they couldn't do that.
Like, and I'm not even against Robin doing the teleporting thing and using the Justice League satellite.
I
Like that,
was
that's-
hyped for
that's
teleporting.
fine. But yeah, just playing it, I was like, this is worse than I thought it was going to be. Holy shit. Yeah. So Yeah, I was excited for it. I had Twitter notifications on for any time Gotham Knights posted. I was watching everything. I was watching the independent character gameplay trailers that they were doing, the short little trailers and whatever.
Yeah.
I was doing the full 9 yards for this game, and it's such a bummer. And I knew that there was a chance that this wasn't going to be great. That's why I didn't hype it up like I did the Batman. And
Yeah.
especially now that you have it on your Xbox and I play it sometimes here, I'm like, I don't need to buy a system to play this.
No, dude, we were considering buying like a PS5. First of all, for a long time, for some reason, I didn't know this was going to come out on Series X. Mm-hmm. I have it now, but we were considering like buying a PS5 for this experience, and my God, I would have returned that PS5 until Spider-Man came out.
Yeah.
Because literally, games right now, there is nothing for me to play on the new gens, like hardly at all. I play Battlefield, and that's been dog water here and there. I just love Battlefield, so I'll deal with it. Mm-hmm. But God, like imagine trying to sell consoles today and being like, look what games we have. Gotham Knights. Nobody cares. Like, this is bad.
This movie, or this, I keep
You keep saying movie.
This is driving me crazy. This game will 100% be $20 within the next
Couple months.
4 months.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to get to in like
It's a
very
$20
soon.
game.
I was going to say, do not, like, truthfully, unless you have absolutely nothing else to spend your money on,
And if you just
don't
have
buy
love for
this
these
game until it is on sale.
If you love the Bat family, I would say it's worth it.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, if you want the story and you like the Bat family and you like just zooming around a city, okay, fine, it's great in that.
But if you lackadaisically just like superheroes and you like superheroes,
It's not worth it, dude.
Probably not worth it. I wouldn't buy it.
I don't know how else to explain it. Like, we like playing it,
Oh yeah.
but that's where that ends. Like, there's no, like...
And again, I don't really know why.
Dude, we only talk about this game pretty much when we're playing it.
Yes.
There's nothing... You know, even like a Call of Duty game, you can be with your friends and be like,
See, I
yo...
just hit a pedestrian. What
Yeah,
is this?
literally, you can hit pedestrians in this, and I think it's kind of funny.
At least I will give them
But-
that. They have a leg over the Arkham games 100% for that.
Hitting pedestrians?
Yep. No, in playing those games, they always empty out the city every single time. And at
Oh,
least this
dude.
game, there's people, like, it feels like a city that people actually live in.
Kind of,
The
yeah.
only
It's
problem
still-
is
it
there's
is
so
still-
much crime at every corner.
Yes.
It's like, I don't think this is actually how people are going to live here.
And I heard, if you don't know her, go check her out. Her name's Grayson Projects. But I heard her
Fuck.
talking. I heard her talking about how Arkham Knight felt a lot like there was just crime on every block. This
Arkham
is
Knight,
bad.
yeah.
Do you
This
think this is worse?
I think it's worse because at least in the context of Arkham Knight, Scarecrow threatens to gas the whole city with fear.
Yeah.
So people are like, well, fuck, we're getting out of here. And they literally take buses of civilians. So the only people that decide to stay in Gotham, because there's free transportation out of the city, the only people who decide to stay in Gotham are the criminals who like want to loot and stuff like that and want to
See-
run the city. So at least
Yeah.
there's context that makes sense.
Well, not to mention, they can give it like a story as to why they can't fill the city up.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? It makes sense because probably technologically they just couldn't do that
No, yeah.
at that point in time with that studios or whatever. And that's fair. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that. If you make it into a story as to why you guys can't do something, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, I don't know. For me, honestly, this is kind of like a weird in between of like there are people, but also this looks
It
like a
also
New York
feels-
City where there's like 8 million people there, and it feels like hardly anybody's on the streets.
That's how the Spider-Man games feel sometimes. There'll be 6 people walking around New York.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So at least...
I get like how much processing power that would likely take.
Oh, for sure.
But let's figure it out, I guess.
It's just a shame. So... Another thing with this game is
What are you doing?
Batman. I'm trying to solve this. I can't figure out the other thing. Is Batman himself. He comes up all the time at the weirdest points. And it's like, he comes up in like the AR training and whatever. And, you know, that's all fine and whatever. But it's the fact, every time I have to do that training because of the knighthood thing. Every time I have to do that like perfect timing thing. Even though I did it once already, I had to do it 3 more times. Batman will show up and be like, clear your mind. And
Dude.
It's so annoying.
Also, okay.
And I do not believe Batman is dead. I'm
Oh.
not that stupid. Nobody is that
Well,
stupid.
Yeah, we won't get into spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, this brings us to another point because we're doing it right now. If you're not watching, we're on investigate this murder. What are we supposed to do? It tells you in the top left. It's like, which item points to the direction of subject. What do you mean?
No, I totally get it.
You do?
I get what
I
they're
don't.
doing. Because the Arkham games do it better. I will say they do it a lot better. But I get what they're saying. It's like they want you to connect the clues. But the difference is in the Arkham games, whenever you scan something, it's Batman's a detective, not me. So Batman will be like, oh, this is the something that he uses, and that this guy lives on this district because that's the only place where you can get this type of gun. And then you go do that thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to scan every little thing in the... I mean, you do have to scan a lot of things in the area, but you don't have to...
I get that we're supposed to connect one thing to another. Mm-hmm. But why and for what reason? Like, it literally is just like, which one points to blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't even know what you mean, but I guess I'll pick it.
They treat it like they treat it like a Telltale game, like how you have to connect the dots on investigating those things.
Well, half of the time I literally just end up marking an item, marking another item, and trying to solve it. And if it doesn't work, I just keep doing all the combinations possible because I don't know what they're asking me to do.
Well, a lot of the time it's the question in the corner is like, what points to how this murder was done, and it'll be a knife, it'll be a phone, and it'll be like a person, and you'll do the knife and the person. And it'll be like, nope, that's not it. And it's like, no, she got stabbed. I get it.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like, no, she tried to call her friend, and then she got stabbed. That's the connect. And it's like,
what?
That's the kind of thing that's like, what I figured out what you meant, but you're wording it in a stupid way that's making it harder.
That's what I mean.
Needs to be.
It's literally like, again, this game just can't explain anything.
It doesn't explain anything to save its fucking life.
Yeah, dude.
Which sucks. Yeah, it's... Gotham Knights is kind of a bummer. It's not the worst game I've ever played, and I do think it's a pretty decent shot at doing... Like, I definitely like the idea that it's a Bat family story. It's not about Batman himself.
Go beat those guys up down there.
Fair enough. And I've been trying to look for somebody on the rooftop, but it just hasn't been happening.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely like a lot of the ideas that they put into it. But the lack of, like... villains that I at least from what I've heard and like the story itself.
Well, look at not even big villains for me. Honestly, if they would have just made these smaller villains more like interesting and different, I would have a better time like going through and actually doing combat. They're all the same person. I've seen that brute guy 1 trillion times now.
Well,
and he looks the exact same every time.
Well, my problem isn't exactly that they're all the same. It's that like, the good thing about those Batman Arkham games or whatever, like I said, with the gadgets that you have and with all the upgrades that you can get, that, like, you can use certain things to your advantage depending on what kind of, like, people you're going against. Like,
yeah.
They have...
For this, you just hard punch everybody.
Exactly. In those games, I have to plan out every attack.
That's what I mean.
Which makes it fun, because
again,
I have to figure out how I'm going to encounter a situation.
There's no planning in this.
There doesn't... Again, you don't even need to plan. That's
where the people are set up, you just have to go down there and brawl them.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to brawl them is honestly a couple of small attacks and then one hard attack, and they're dead already, or they're knocked out already.
The stealth in this feels as lazy as when you're playing as Miles or Mary Jane in the first Spider-Man game. That stealth is
not even that good.
Awful.
That's honestly, this isn't even that good because, like, at least there you could, like, kind of lock behind, like, an object or something.
Yeah.
And kind of walk behind it. I guess you can't lock, but I don't know. Even there, like, it felt better than this. This, like, you just hope they didn't hear you or something, and you walk up behind them.
Well, my problem with it, my biggest problem with it is, like, you're a superhero in this game. It's different than whenever you're just a regular civilian trying to do stuff. There should be... I don't know. There should be so many ways to tackle each situation. And with this, the environment is always just something that blows up or that you can hack. And you don't even really do anything with it. You just blow it up. Even the things that you hack, they're just things that blow up. Like, in Batman Arkham Knight, for example, there's an enemy type that they're like medics, right? And they can like basically shock the guy next to them, and they basically have a coating of electricity surrounding them. And the only way to take them down, because you can't touch them because they're like wrapped in electricity, is you have to grapple them and pull them towards you to like, you know, and the coil from the grapple will like absorb the electricity or whatever.
Yeah.
And so there's like things like that, or like you can get a certain upgrade for certain enemies that have like these mine packs that whenever they set it down, it blows up. There's just like none of that here.
No.
There's
nothing.
no way to encounter any situation different. And that's how you get very repetitive and boring gameplay. That's exactly what you want to avoid. There's a difference between this game, I will be done playing once we beat the story, and I probably will not play it again. Arkham Knight.
They have to come out with some major updates for this for me to come back.
These Arkham games, I still play. I replay them all probably once a year, at least. And Arkham Knight
makes me laugh.
Is my like comfort game that I play when I'm listening to a podcast or something, so I can just go around beat the shit out of people, and it's fun because there's
Get
a
the
million.
strong girl out.
There's a million different things I can do.
God, she's annoying.
It's bothering the fuck out of me. So yeah, this movie will not stand the test of time, unfortunately, and it's
you said movie again.
That's awesome. I'm hating this. Yeah, it's trying to play and talk. It's kind of difficult.
It's
sometimes.
difficult. Respect to gameplay, guys.
Yeah, no shit. I will not be playing this in the future, and I don't blame a lot of the people who were in this creatively. I think their heart was in it, at least from what I could tell. You took the wrong ideas from those Arkham games and about what made them great.
I'm gonna say it almost feels like they wanted it to be very, very similar to how those games felt. But it's almost like they forgot a lot of the mechanics of what makes that game that. Like,
yeah.
Especially when it comes to, for me, it's literally that you do the exact same moves over and over and over again, and there is no thinking behind it. You could play this game like dead tired, not even thinking about what you're doing, and you would still not die.
Yep.
Like, you would still be fine, and you would be, you just go down there, punch a bunch of guys until they're knocked out, and then you scan something like this. It doesn't do anything for you. Okay, so then you move on to the next thing. And that's it.
I like the idea that you can interrogate almost anybody to figure out where other crimes are happening. But
but just to go do the same thing again.
That's just barely just to do the same thing again. And at least, again, those fucking Arkham games, like I said, they had different enemy types. There were different ways to encounter situations. But also, at the end of the day, like, mechanically, even if you were still just pressing punch and pressing block, there were so many different combinations.
Here, let me see this.
Of like different attacks that you had and things like that. It was kind of insane how some moves, like, depending on where you're beating an enemy up, whether they were near a wall, near another enemy, near, something that explodes, there were, like, if you did a block or a punch, there were so many rare, like, attacks that you could do just based on where they were sitting at in the environment. Yeah. And that at least keeps things fresh.
Yeah.
And with this also, like, you don't even have, like, a parry. You don't have, a counter attack. You just have that regular ass dodge, which is just flipping around or sliding behind them whenever you do the perfect dodge or whatever. And it's not good.
It's not good, dude. So I guess we'll leave a little bit of this. We've covered pretty much all the points that we want to make. It's not great of a game. It's fun to play. Maybe not for very long.
Not for a whole lot. Not for a lot of time, no.
So maybe we can leave a little bit of this up to gameplay for a second and just watch what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, do they want to watch what's going on?
I don't know.
Probably.
Do they not? That's what I mean. This isn't a fun game to watch.
What you're doing right now, they've been watching the whole time. That's the problem.
True.
That's the problem
That's
with the
true.
game.
We might just cut this early.
Yeah, might.
But I really want to show them how you can just throw somebody off a building.
What do you think about the bike? We kind of touched on the bike, but the transportation on the bike, it's weird, right?
It's not fun.
You know what riding that bike reminds me of? Playing as Hulk in the Avengers game. Because Hulk in the Avengers game will look like he is hauling ass. But when you look at the environment around you, you are moving at 0 miles per fucking hour.
Yeah.
And it looks very clunky because of that. Because of that reason, it looks terrible, and it is terrible.
I'm not gonna lie. There's like, okay, so there's all these abilities too that we're not really touching on because we talked about it earlier. First of all, this tree is so messed up. I can't even hardly ever get to these other like these side abilities. Like literally on the D-pad, you cannot do it. It's annoying. It just keeps wanting to go up and down.
It's like doing a puzzle because
Oh
you
my
have
God.
to go over there,
Yes.
then go down, then go over, and if you want to get back, you gotta go.
Like, look at this. This section even here should be like, okay, that's the knighthood section. That should be more about
Right.
what?
A lot of people can't see what we're talking about.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so we're in the knighthood section of the abilities. But literally, if any of these abilities right now should be more about like your gear, like it should help your gear or gives you something new, like a
Or
smoke
gives you
bomb
new
or whatever.
attacks and new gadgets.
Yeah,
and
new
things like
gadgets.
that.
I guess that's what I mean. New gadgets. It's literally just telling me, oh, my critical chance increases by 15% for 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Who
who
is
cares?
keeping that math? Nobody cares.
That's why
Nobody
like,
cares that I've regened 40% more in this amount of time or
That's why I
whatever.
don't
It doesn't
fuck with
matter.
mods and shit.
Dude,
Like,
it doesn't matter.
It's like the Avengers game. It's like,
Like I'm going to
and
be
the-
able to tell that difference. For real.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Dude, nobody, I don't know why. I guess people can like this stuff if they're like into like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, where they're like, I have 10% damage increase whenever I land a 6 on the die or whatever. This isn't that. This is a fucking video game. Nobody wants to know that their attack
Nobody.
has increased by 6% or whatever. Nobody gives a shit. I don't give a shit.
Guys,
That's not going to make me interested enough to learn the mechanics of like how all this stuff works. You know what that does for me? It just means I'm just going to skip over that entire section that you probably dumped your heart out to for no reason. Nobody wants to do. You know what you do? You give them gear that gives those increases, right? You get these new gauntlets. These gauntlets increase your defense by 16% or whatever. That's the kind of shit that makes people want. That's when I play Injustice. That's my drive to get better gear, is because I have to fight enemies that are stronger than me, and I have to get better gear. But also, it's cosmetic. I can see the difference. That's a pretty good picture, bud. They also have I will give it to them. They have a great photo mode in this game.
which-
Holy shit! It's so honestly,
it better
it's so
be.
good.
Come on. I mean, the city does look great for the photos too, I will say.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that pretty much does it, guys. You just believe us. You can literally throw a guy off a building.
Yes. You
So
can. Look it up.
I'm sure somebody's already talked about it already.
Probably.
But we're gonna leave it there.
It's still weird.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. We did kind of dog on it a lot, so sorry. We don't mean to make podcasts that just put stuff down, but come on. If as fans, we needed to start demanding a little bit better. I kind of regret not buying this like on disc, because after playing the story, I would probably have returned it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like we're $70, dude. They increased the amount for games like for current gens to $10. Now they're $70.
This is
I
not
cannot
a $70
afford this
game.
stuff. Like literally.
Me and Ben had to split it. We couldn't even.
Like well, if we didn't split it, it's like there was no point. Like I would not have bought this game for $70
Yeah.
before I've even played it.
It doesn't even feel worth $35, does it?
Like the new Call of Duty's coming out and everything. I used to love playing Call of Duty's. I'm not gonna buy that game for a while.
Yeah.
Until I can save up enough for it. And honestly, I might wait for a sale. And that's what you should do for this game. So guys, if you liked it, go follow us. Go subscribe to us on YouTube. I hope you like this new. This is a new style for us. We may or may not do this again.
Yeah. Honestly, we'll see what
let us
happens.
know.
I have some crazy shit to throw in at the end, Ben.
Yeah.
The new co-CEO of DC Films is James Gunn,
It's like an end of the news of the week here.
and it is. That's really the. At this point, I'm gonna keep covering news, but it's only gonna be shit that's really mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Okay, James Gunn, co-CEO of DC Films. That's huge. That is crazy, and I think that was an excellent choice.
Yeah.
He absolutely nailed the Suicide Squad. Ben hasn't finished it yet. He was super tired the first time.
I fell asleep.
And Peacemaker is easily one of my favorite shows that I've watched this year, and I've probably watched at least 5 or 6. So it's pretty fucking good. But yeah, that's
All right.
it. James Gunn, go team.
Well, this was Issue 1 Podcast. If you want to contact us, we have issue1podcast@gmail.com. You can follow any of our socials. Contact us there. We check our DMs. But yeah, We're coming out with a bunch of shorts and stuff like that, so check those out. But thank you guys, and hope you enjoyed.
This was mediocre.